So now, the Chazon Ish tells us that a person that lacks bitachon is obviously not doing so good, but he's going to avoid the destructiveness associated with the false truster. For he who lacks the trait of trust and Hashem totally simply lacks it. But the false bitachon, the false truster, not only lacks it, but he is also going to be condemned for his falsehood. He who lacks trust will not attract disciples, nor teach them about trusting in Hashem. Whereas the false bitachon ends up teaching others to be false just like him. Hence the reason of why he's much more dangerous. The guy that doesn't have bitachon, he's not going to go preaching around to people and say, listen, you should have bitachon. I know I don't have it, but you should have it. He's not going to do that. He doesn't have bitachon, he's going to keep his mouth shut. He's going to deal with his own struggles. He's got a question, maybe he's going to call the rabbi, maybe he's going to call the rabbinite. They're having struggles. They don't have enough. They're not going to go start preaching to everybody else. But the faker is much more dangerous. Why? He's going to start telling everybody, listen, what? You having a tough time? Have bitachon Hashem. No, it's bitachon Hashem. He starts telling everybody, bitachon Hashem. You have to believe and everything good's going to happen. That's it. Chazon Ish says, this guy is not giving coronavirus to people. He's giving them AIDS. He's giving them a deadly disease. Why? Because now this faker actually thinks he has bitachon. And he tells people the only thing you have to have as far as bitachon is just believe that good things are going to happen, and therefore good things are going to happen. He thinks that that's how it works. So he now produces other fakers. So now all of his students, male or female, all of her students, male or female, say, listen, my teacher, my rabbi, my rebbitzin, my superhero, he told me that if I think good, it will be good. That's all I need to do. I don't need to keep Shabbat. I don't need to keep Ta'at Mishpacha. I don't need to keep the mitzvot. I don't need to keep this. I just need to believe that good things are going to happen, and therefore good things are going to happen. This type of teaching is probably beyond you. It's a Kabbalah. I don't study the Torah. That's only for simple people. I'm already a Kabbalist. This is what the people think. They go to a Kabbalah center or some joker that calls himself a Kabbalist, whether they're Orthodox or not. Complete joke, and they lie to people in their face without even knowing they're lying. Many times they're lying to themselves too. They think they have bitachon. So the question is, how could somebody think they have bitachon, lie about it, teach about it, and not know that he's lying the whole time? How could he not know? I mean, surely Paro knew that he's not God. But did he? Surely the guy that's lying to people about having bitachon knows that he doesn't have bitachon. But does he? The question is, does he really know that he doesn't have bitachon? Chazon Ish says, a person that's a faker may not even know that he's faking himself. But that doesn't make him any less dangerous or any less guilty. The fact that he's a faker makes him dangerous and guilty. Whether he's doing it knowingly or unknowingly, irrelevant. The damage is still done. The bullet is still out of the gun, it's still going to kill somebody. Whether you did it on purpose or not on purpose is irrelevant. Someone's still going to die. Here we have a situation where the Chazon Ish tells us that this faker is much more dangerous than someone who simply lacks bitachon. Because even at the worst case scenario, someone who lacks bitachon is going to show somebody else's anxiety, like the story we just had with the Brisker Rebbe. His son obviously had less bitachon than the father. All of us have less bitachon than the Brisker Rebbe, but nonetheless, he had less bitachon than him. But because of his lackings, he had anxiety that the Brisker Rebbe didn't have. And because he had this anxiety, he didn't understand how could his father sit there in the living room learning Torah when there's missiles hitting places all over the place. I gotta get him out. So the worst case scenario with the guy that lacks bitachon, he's going to influence himself and maybe one other person. This person, he has anxiety, and in essence, he causes somebody else to also have anxiety due to him. This happens practically every day. Every day, people that have no trust in Hashem, what do? It's not enough that they have anxiety. They have to tell other people that they have anxiety, and you should have anxiety too. They have anxiety about the economy, so they tell everybody else, listen, the whole world's going to garbage. No, everything's going to garbage. You should already start collecting cans. You should start, well, hold on a second. Why? Why do you think, well, I have $1 million in the bank? Why is the world going? No. Everybody's going to be home. Hold on a second. Why? Who? They don't have an explanation. They have anxiety. They cause other people to have anxiety. They don't have emunah in Hashem. They cause everybody else to have no emunah in Hashem. But that's the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that maybe if he or she has a little bit of gift of gab, they have a few friends or relatives or whatever, they're going to cause other people to have anxiety too. Annoying, but not necessarily lethal. Because anybody else that has bitachon will simply just fend them off. Okay, listen, you can live your life, I'll live my life, and that's what we can do. One of the worst things, for me personally, as a pet peeve, is people try to make me anxious because they have no bitachon. I find that to be one of the worst things in the world. I find it extremely annoying because, again, you may not have bitachon. You may not have any trust whatsoever. You may be an atheist, but just not even realize it. But that doesn't mean that I have to be. Because you think that a person is supposed to do X, Y, Z in order to live, doesn't mean that I have to do that. But the problem is with people today is that they figure that if in their mind you're supposed to wake up at a certain time, go to work at a certain time, live a certain time, eat a certain time, die a certain time, bathe a certain time, everything has to be a certain time, and everybody that's not exactly that, that person is putting himself in danger. It's the most ludicrous thing in the world. Same concept with people that are very critical about other people's diets or their own diet and the foods that they eat. Oh, why are you eating that? That's going to kill you. Why? Why is it going to kill me? Listen, you're eating this meat, you're eating this cheese, you're eating this thing. That's terrible for you. Terrible for you. Maybe I want to eat it. The point is that you should not give your anxiety to other people like a virus. You have issues, deal with them yourself. You don't need to necessarily tell everybody else about your anxieties, about how you think you're going to die early. They want to live that way. If they ask you for advice, it's a different story. But the problem is today that the guy that lacks bitachon, the girl that lacks bitachon, wants everybody else to do the same. So the worst case scenario, they'll influence their immediate circle. Their immediate circle, 1, 2, 3 people, that's it. The faker is not. The faker is not like this. The faker is much more lethal. The faker is much more dangerous because the faker, his whole mission, her whole mission, is not just to show the world that she has bitachon, but rather to build a pyramid scheme of it. Rather to build a whole army of people that call her the Rebbitzin, call him the Rebbe, call him the teacher, the guru. His whole thing is to build a huge community of people that kiss his hand the second they see it. Praise his name the second they hear it. Why? Oh, he is the Baal Bitachon. It's the Baal Shem Tov. He's the Baal Bitachon, this guy. They want everyone to know them as the person that has Bitachon. Why? Every single time they talk, that's all they talk about. Have you noticed that there are some speakers out there on the internet, same internet you're using right now to watch me, there are some people that all they talk about is just bitachon and emunah. They're never going to tell you about, by the way, in this parasha, Hashem destroyed the world. It's called Parashat Noach. Why? Because people were wicked. There were homosexuals, they were bisexual, they were transsexual, there were all types of horrible things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates. And guess what? The same exact thing happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. They made a lot of immorality crimes, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu destroyed them too. And guess what? That same immorality, that same desire that became something of disgusting, to the point everybody was doing it, followed suit in Egypt. That's why Egypt went from being the number one most powerful civilization in the world to being a zero. Why? Because the Midrash Rabbah, chapter 15, section 27, same thing with Midrash Me'am Loez, Parashat Shmot, chapter 8, verse number 2, says that the Egyptians were homosexuals. There were homosexuals, they liked to do everything with anything, but that wasn't enough. They liked to do it in groups. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent them 2 specific plagues to deal with this measure for measure. He sent them the frogs and he sent them the cattle. The frogs he sent them in order to enter their bodies and emasculate them. The guy was able to have babies, he wasn't using it for that, therefore he doesn't have the ability to do it. And the Midrash Me'am Loel says, before the frog emasculated the Egyptian, it gave him a little musal by speaking through his stomach and saying, Egyptian, Egyptian, you Rasha Mehusha, I'm going to emasculate you because of what you did. You went against the Kadosh Baruch Hu even as a Noahide. And guess what? Because you didn't do alone, there's going to be another plague coming. All types of animals are going to come. The lions and the eagles and all types of vicious animals are going to come and kill all of you. Why? Because just like you like to do it in groups, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send all types of animals like you in groups. Here we see, Rabotai, that the writings we have from 300 years ago, from 1500 years ago, from 2000 years ago, already talks about the problems of being immoral and being against Hashem. So this is basic Judaism. It's not a chidush. It's simple. It's midrashim. It's gmarot. It's simple Judaism. But how many rabbis are speaking about this? How many rabbis even allow the fact that homosexuality is an abomination to Hashem leave their lips in public? How many people are telling you that if you violate Shabbat on purpose, according to our Jewish halacha, the Rambam, chapter 15, Hilchot Shabbat, last halacha, says it's considered idolatry? How many rabbis say that? How many speakers say that? Guess what? Not so many. So what are they speaking about that's so much more important than warning you about the dangers that are hitting our society, which is a massive amount of immorality, cheating, lying, chilul Shabbat, and so on? What do they talk to you about? Emunah and Bitachon. They talk to you about Emunah and Bitachon. Well, they tell you, listen, you should have Emunah, you should have Bitachon, Bitachon Hashem, and let me tell you a story, and they tell you a lovely story. Some wonderful story that gives you a little goosebumps here and there. Wow, I want to be like that little boy and have bitachon. Wow, I want to be like that girl and have bitachon. And you feel good about yourself because you just learned Torah for 5.5 minutes watching a video. You feel good about yourself. Guess what? He's killing you. It's 5.5 minutes of poison. It's an hour of poison. Why? He told you about bitachon without the prerequisites. To just teach you about Bitachon without telling you how to acquire it, without telling you that to know the Torah, to live the Torah is a prerequisite of actually having Bitachon, even knowing what it is simply killing you slowly. It's killing you like one of the Chinese tortures, where they simply tie a person up and drop drops of water on his forehead until it makes a hole. That's what this type of teaching is. It's simply killing people because it makes you feel good. It's a little drop of water. Wow, it was a little hot. But in the end, after you have 1,000,000 of those, you simply want to lose your mind. Same thing with this type of teachings. They teach you all of the nice little stories, the Baal Shem Tov stories, and the Chassidut stories, and the Litvish stories, and the Sephardic stories, and all types of wonderful stories. But if they don't teach you about Yirat Shamayim and how you're supposed to be scared to death from going against Hashem, scared to death of being punished by Hashem by going against it, scared to death of doing anything that's not in accordance with the Torah, guess what? It's killing you. Hence the reason of why the Chazon Ish, the Gedol Ador from not too long ago, previous generation, says the guy that lacks bitachon is no good. He has trouble. He has problems. He is removed, really, from the truth of Judaism. But there's hope for him. Well, he could grow. He could, it's like an empty canister. You put some water in it. You put some drink in it, and that's it. Finished. You add some bitachon into this guy that lacks, and finish. Yeah, you got a guy that's a tzaddik. But the faker is worse than any virus or disease that ever hit the face of the earth. Why? First and foremost, he thinks that he's telling people the truth. He thinks he has bitachon. He thinks He's helping her. He thinks he's helping him by telling him, no, have bitachon in Hashem, have bitachon in this, have bitachon in that. Everything's going to be okay. He thinks he's doing good. Even though he doesn't tell them about Yirat Shamayim, he doesn't tell them about fear of Hashem, he doesn't tell them about punishment, he doesn't tell them about the other 95% of Judaism. He just tells them about the little scope of hope to give people confidence, as if this generation lacks confidence. People keep telling, no, you shouldn't speak so hard because maybe it's going to make people lose their confidence. You know, people don't have confidence in this generation. Are you living on planet Earth? The last thing we're missing on is confidence. If anything, we have too much of it. We have too much confidence. We think we run the world. We think we're the smartest in the world. We think we're all the best looking. Hence the reason why every single person has an idea, shares it on the internet, even if it's stupid. Every person that thinks he or she looks good takes a selfie and puts it on the internet. Why is there a reason that you have 87 pictures on your profile of your face? Why do I need to know that there's 8 different versions of your face? You obviously think you're good looking. The point being is, confidence is not something we lack. If anything, it's the opposite. So why is everybody so worried about hurting your confidence? It has nothing to do with your confidence. It has to do with theirs. The teacher's confidence. He has no confidence that if he told you the truth, you'd actually listen. But that starts building up, because he's not teaching you the truth, he's teaching you falsehood. He's teaching you about stories, and guess what? He becomes a victim of his own poison. How? Instead of teaching you the emet, instead of hard teaching you the emet, telling you that you need to put clothes on the next time you actually leave your house, instead of teaching you the emet, telling you have to stop driving on Shabbat or on Yom Tov because it's not allowed, instead of teaching you the emet that tells you if you continue doing what you're doing with the intermarriage and the homosexuality and all the other filthy things you do in your business, Hashem's going to punish you severely. If he keeps ignoring that, what ends up happening is that he has to replace that with a different subject. What's the favorite subject? Emunah and Bitachon. So, what ends up happening? Everybody likes him. Everybody likes him. What? He doesn't rebuke anyone. She doesn't rebuke anyone. All she does is give me hope. She tells me stories, and she gives me hope about the future, about my kids, and about my this, and about my that. And she just gives me hope, and he just gives me hope. And guess what? Chazon Ish says, she's killing you. But before we get to that, why does she keep doing that when she really knows that she read Parashat Bechukotai, she read Parashat Azinu, she read Parashat Noach, she read half the Tanakh at the very least, and half of it has punishment? How come she keeps ignoring it? How come he keeps ignoring it while knowing that it actually exists? You know why? Because she sees that the lies are working. They're working perfectly. Why? Everybody starts coming. When's the next time you're coming back? Oh, no, you don't have something on schedule? Okay, so let's put it on schedule. How much do you charge? 1,500, 15,000, 20,000? Okay, I'll get a couple of people. I'll pay for myself. All of a sudden, he starts getting invitations to all communities all over planet Earth. She may even get something on Mars, too. Everyone wants to invite her and him. Why? She gives everybody hope. He gives everybody hope by telling them, have bitachon, while killing them. But they don't tell everybody that. The problem is, Rabotai, is she starts succeeding. Just like Paro. Paro told everybody that he's God, and guess what? He started succeeding. Everybody started following him. Everybody started praising him. Everybody started doing whatever he said. And he became a victim of his own poison, like the people of today that tell you all types of fancy stories. They have 50 zillion subscribers and fans and people showing up to their lectures and so on and so forth. Never have any trouble, don't even need to market. It's simply the lie markets itself. What ends up happening, they end up succeeding and start to think, hey, I guess this is the will of Hashem. I guess this is what Hashem wants, because if he didn't want it, I wouldn't succeed. Wrong. Wrong. Satan also has the right to do certain things. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them a very long leash. Although HaKadosh Baruch Hu can pull the leash whenever he wants, nonetheless, he gives them a long leash. Abali tel mesaim biado, abali tamid potchin lo. Gemara says someone that wants to become pure, wants to become purified, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them a hand. But somebody that wants to do bad things, HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens the door, says, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You want to cause people to sin? Go for it. Why? And the end, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to check every account and close every one of them that doesn't deserve to have existence. Don't worry. HaKadosh Baruch Hu monitors everything. You want to do bad things? HaKadosh Baruch Hu will allow you to do bad things in places that you're allowed to do bad things.